Hello team, welcome to the first week of Ricky and Lauren's tech work. Ricky is not here, so this is looking forward to next week where she'll be here. It'll be extra fun. So it's just me this week. We're starting with our progression, working on the finish. So obviously the finish is a very important position. Not only is it important that we do it correctly to send the boat away and accelerate away, engaging the correct muscle groups, but it's also important to set us up for our progression into the next stroke, and we need to do it all together. So just starting with the position itself, where we want to be, sitting at the finish, starting with our head, we want to be nice neutral spine, right? So chin level with the ground. From the crown of our head down is a nice neutral spine, not arched out, not bent. I like to think that if I was sitting up, neutral like this, that if a string was on my head and was pulled up, make that extra space in between each vertebrae, and then lay back to your finished position. So that's that nice neutral spine. Shoulders nice and level and down, away from the ears, not up here, but nice and relaxed. Squeezing through the lats. Think about these muscles back here. Try to surround your spine with those muscles, squeezing the traps, the lats together. Elbows back, so you could hold about like a dodgeball here, just squeezing them back and through. Wrists nice and flat. Core engaged, pulling the belly button in, supporting the spine there. Important with our hips, sitting on, if we had seat pockets here, sitting on the bottom of our pockets, not the top. So if we had a tail, like our tailbone was actually a tail, we're sitting on top of our tail, not tucking our tail. So on top of our tail there. Quads nice and engaged, right? Nice and engaged quads, supporting into like nice strong feet, feeling our foot stretcher there, nice and engaged, connected all the way through. Right, so that's the position that we want to be in. From there, different drills we can do. We do the nice pause progression, right? So we pause, and every time we're here thinking, where am I? Like there, I felt that I had kind of tucked, so I fixed it, right? Fix yourself, don't be afraid. When you're in that pause, check in on your body positioning, right? So pause, and then move on. Pause, and you can do every stroke, every other stroke, etc. So from there, we want to not only work on the position, and how we engage through it. We also want to work on our speed around the finish and how we move in and out, right? Moving with the speed of the boat, which we're not in a boat, but we're going to start practicing that, right? So thinking about that ski lift analogy, how we come around and we change direction. We're not stopping and pausing unless you're doing a pause, but we're not bouncing, right? We're going, we're squeezing through, finishing that last stroke, then floating away. So if we're going at a 20, we're floating away at a 20. If we're going at a 24, we're floating away at a 24, right? Always following with that boat speed. Ways to work on that on tech days. I really like the hands away, cut the cake. Just working on feeling out that hand speed. Thinking about as we go hands away, not getting up in the shoulders, so thinking about how we draw away from the lats and how it's nice and smooth without bouncing, right? So take that stroke, out, in, out, out, in, out. So keeping it nice and fluid. That wasn't very fluid, I'm sorry. I was distracted. But keeping it nice and fluid. And then you can do it every other stroke as well. So working on that speed around the finish, not bouncing, but not holding, that nice ski lift. Every other. And these are just some ways that you can work on that finished position and think about what you need to do in that finished position to be your best self, but then also thinking about that movement away and the rhythm that we want to set, remembering our UMass stroke in that sense. Sounds good to me.